Eritrea's representative at the just-ended 73rd United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, dedicated the entire address of the country to making a forthright demand for Security Council's sanctions to be lifted. Foreign Minister Osman Mohamed Saleh dedicated the three-fourths of his speech to bemoaning injustices that his country has and continues to suffer, demanding that the 2009-2011 sanctions be lifted. The first part of his speech, as with the other speakers, congratulated the president of the session before being recounted the July 8 peace deal signed by President Isaias Afwerki and Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia. He said in part, "Its positive dividend, the peace deal for regional peace and security, is too palpable to merit emphasis. This is indeed attested by new frameworks of all-rounded cooperation that have been set in motion in the past 2 months or that are on the offing at the regional level." Eritrea wishes to express its gratitude to various countries that contributed in different ways, and that have demonstrated their political goodwill, to the success of the historical process underway, he stressed. "Let me now revert to a perplexing injustice that has afflicted my country for almost a decade. I am referring to the unwarranted sanctions that were imposed on Eritrea in December 2009 and 2011 respectively. With positive winds of peace flowing in our region, several UNSC member states are these days calling for the immediate lifting of the deplorable sanctions. The diplomatic discourse is not, however, fully coherent. As it happens, some countries are looking for procedural and other pretexts and preconditions. The apparent aim is to move the goalpost and maintain the illegal sanctions on Eritrea. As an aggrieved party, which has stood for 9 long years on the receiving end of the miscarriage of justice, Eritrea cannot and will not plead for clemency or magnanimity. The people and government of Eritrea will continue to stand up for their rights until justice is ascertained and wrongs meted to them are redressed. The minister in the third portion took potshots at known persons and governments he said were behind the sanctions regime, using among other terms, transgressions against Eritrea, hubris and perverse power games, absence of justice, unlawful and unfair sanctions, etc. He summed up what he said was the interplay of forces and factors that brought about the sanctions. Slamming successive U.S. governments, the UNSC for letting Ethiopia continually and flagrantly abuse international law and agreements, and that the sanctions were to serve the agenda of major powers,